time making this video. For some odd reason, Satan does not want this video to go up. Like I said earlier, when I tried to do this earlier, we had a transformer explosion, and I lost power. Yeah, I went to the post office, and I was going to, and I'm having computer issues, like, even with Linux Ubuntu, it's like the computer's lagging, and I'm just hoping I can get through this without having major issues. So let's go ahead and open up Joshua J. Joshua's present. I got it at my P.O. box. Get my scissors here to open it. I'm pretty sure it's from Joshua J. Joshua. I'll find out. Oh, fry away. Because I think he told me he was going to get this for me. And this is to help me with making fried chicken, so that I can throw away used cooking oil into solid organic waste. Thank you. Let me see if there's a note in here. Ooh, they threw out his note. I'm pretty sure this was from Joshua J. Joshua, though. So thank you, Joshua, for getting this for me. They threw out your note. I bet he had one in there. So the Jesuits do that sometimes. And I'm wearing this ring here. I put something on my Amazon wish list because look how it easily slides off my finger. I've got skinny fingers, and I have to use something like so. These rings are both worth millions of dollars. This one's from Hugh Jackman. This one's from Jesus and Brent Spiner. Jesus bought it, and Brent Spiner picked it. Okay, now let's go ahead and open the one from Vladimir Putin. This one here. This one took a while to get here. I actually think this is a Christmas present. Look at this. It's it came from Russia. Where does it say that? Can you read it? Oh, it doesn't really say. Anyways, it says right here, it's from, I'm going to turn on some more light here. Get some more light. Yeah, get some more light. Yeah, it's starting to get dark. So, maybe I should turn this one off. Hey, that helps a little bit. Okay. It says it's from Kiev, Ukraine. So he mailed it from Ukraine. Look at those interesting stamps there, huh? Okay, let's see what he sent to me. I was told that Vladimir Putin sent me something, so this must be from Vladimir. Maybe this is what they don't want me to open. I don't know. I'm curious what he got me. Vladimir and I have a relationship going back to 2001. Right after 9/11, I noticed him. Yeah. Let me go check this. Opening it with scissors here. It took a while to get here. I bet this is supposed to be a Christmas present, but it came from Russia area, so. Okay, let's see what's in here. Jesus must be protecting a lot of the stuff I get because Hugh Jackman was able to send me this ring. Like Robin Williams tried to send me a ring that was worth about this much, and the Jesuits murdered him. He was also planning on flying out to Melbourne and marrying me too. That's pretty risky. So poor Robin's in heaven now. He didn't commit suicide. He was murdered. So yeah, I actually made a video about that. Okay. That was in 2014. All right, let's open this up. Oh, this looks interesting. I wonder what he sent me. Looks like food, huh? Mont Blanc, yeah, it's food. Looks like it's something from France. Let's see. Now, why would Satan care about this? Maybe he cares more about something else I was thinking of talking about, which is the fact that Jesus and I appear to be brain-to-brain lovers. Yeah, he's living in my apartment in case you... Yeah. That's really funny because Jesus made a post several weeks ago at my YouTube channel stating he would not be my lover. But it looks like he is. But we've had some complications along that line too. If you go to my website, you can check it out. Let me open up Vladimir's present. Actually, it came about 6 days ago, but I've been so busy dealing with all sorts of things that didn't have a chance to go out to the post office till recently. This looks like food. Mont Blanc, kosher Roshan. Oh my goodness. Looks like it's going to be delicious. Oh, let's see. Okay. Hey, but it doesn't say, did he have a note in it or anything? You know what? I bet there were notes in there, and they probably got thrown out, just like Joshua's got thrown out. Yeah, I bet this is from Vladimir Putin. So, well, Vladimir, looks like it made it here, but if you had a note in here, that didn't make it. Well, let's see what's inside of here. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Oh, it's chocolate. You know, they all know that I love chocolate. Thank you. I believe this is from Vladimir. Thank you, Vladimir. This looks good. Yeah. I think I might try one. Yeah. Yum. I love my chocolate. And it looks like it's from France. Let me see. Mont Blanc. Let me see here. It sounds like a French name. Oh, it's got hazelnuts in it. I love chocolate with nuts. This looks really good. Roshan. Yeah, I love chocolate with nuts. I just got a chocolate chip cookie recipe that if somebody orders me a wire rack, I'm going to make it. And it's got nuts in it. And coconut oil. I'm going to try that sometime because I love nuts. Oh, I'm trying to see where it's from. Mont Blanc. Yeah, I'm sure this is from Vladimir. Because it came from Russia. So, oh, that looks so good. Roshan. Yeah, I think there were notes in there and they got thrown out. Oh, I can't read this. Oh, it's from, no, it doesn't say. It's in a bunch of different languages. I'm trying to read it. Oh, it's in Russian. A lot of Russian on here. Okay, well, anyways. I'm gonna try one. This looks really good. I know that like Belgium is really famous for their chocolates. So let's see. My men have figured out that I love chocolate. Yeah, oh, yum. This looks good. Let's try this. Interesting. It tastes like European chocolate. Really good. Only one. Yum. Delicious. Thank you, Vladimir. Good. I think it's considered a romantic thing in Russia to give your woman chocolates. This is delicious. Thank you. Mont Blanc, huh? It came all the way from Russia. Okay. Or Ukraine, anyway. That is really good. Thank you. So, tomorrow at my Patreon, I'm wearing the earrings that Brett bought me. Aren't they beautiful? So, yeah, I just put a recipe for chocolate chip cookies at, I printed it out, and I've decided if somebody orders me wire racks, I'll make them. I love chocolate. Okay, you might say, so how's things going between you and Jesus? Satan actually impregnated me. Yeah. I've been talking about it with my Patreon supporters, and I also made a webpage. Fortunately, within a half an hour after he did, Brent got on Skype, and we caught him really fast. And we called in Jesus. You would say, how did Satan do that? Yes, you can get pregnant brain to brain with brain to brain sex. You can. Well, see, let me tell you what happened. Jesus and I have been having kind of like, they call it brain to brain loving. And we had it's kind of hard to explain what it's like to make love to a deity. It's like, let me see if I can get better lighting here. It's how do I say this? I feel kind of like, have you all watched that movie Thor, where the main character has a relationship with Thor, who is like a deity? Well, I feel kind of like her. It's like, let's just put it this way. Jesus and I'm not pregnant now, by the way. They aborted the babies really quick. But Satan babies can grow really fast, so it's a good thing they caught it within a half an hour. They can birth a baby like within a couple of hours. So they caught it early. You might say, how did Jesus allow that? Like I was saying, Jesus started communicating with me in February 2012 when he showed up at a Valentine's service at Church of Gail to rescue us from Satan, who showed up in the church service and turned everybody gay against their will and basically took over the church service. And he locked all the doors so nobody could get out. And that's in my Bible for Tribulation Saints. And yeah, after that, Jesus showed up to rescue us. And then Satan resurrected Zach Knight from hell as the Antichrist. And we have had Antichrist from February 2012 until this month, when Lauren McBride turned good. Now, according to Jesus, the Antichrist is on hold. There are currently no Antichrists, but there are a large group of Jesuits out there still. So, yeah, so I've been friends. I was really amazed. When Jesus showed up in 2012, I thought that would be it. I thought he just showed up to rescue us from Satan. We were flabbergasted that the world-famous Jesus, the one in the history books, the one who wrote the Bible, was here to rescue us. And we were so honored. And, me coming from a Bible college background, I was like, wow, I want to ask him all these questions, And, oh, yeah, he could answer all of them. It was the real thing. It was a real Jesus. But what really amazed me when he showed up was how much I really liked him. He was just not what I expected. Very relatable. Used a lot of hip, cool language. And not at all kind of like the greatest story ever told type. She's like, I am Jesus Christ. Nothing like that. Just like let me tell you, he came across kind of like a hippie, but a cool hippie, and yet very warm, relatable, but yet people who've seen him say he has a bit of an aura or a glow about him, and you can tell he's not quite human. So if you look at him, because he's in his resurrection immortal body, and he is a deity. I have had so many dealings with Jesus since 2012. And Brent Spiner, my husband, who I'm not living with, but who I consider my husband, has been having breakfast and lunch with Jesus almost every day since 2012. And my husband, I am proud to say, graduated with a PhD in theology from Dallas Theological Seminary, and he graduated with the highest honors. His thesis was on Jesus is not a cock blocker. And from what I understand, he was the best student they've ever had. I had to get this out of him because he doesn't boast about himself. He hasn't even told anybody he graduated from Dallas Theological Seminary. He's also a medical doctor. And both Brent and I currently have an IQ of 9,999. Jesus said it's not possible to go higher than that. Zach Knight and Rule 13, their IQ is currently 9,900 each. So we got this foursome. So, Jesus showed up and started talking to us and helped us through problems that we had, gave us advice. He was very relatable. If you read Bible from Tribulation Saints, you'll get the transcripts. And if you go to my website, I have a lot of transcripts of my dealings with him. So and then I made a lot of videos talking about it. You know, right now, like I said, I've had a 10-year relationship with him through Skype, where he'll show up on Skype and advise me and talk to me. And he's basically guided my life in great detail since 2012 when he showed up. He helped me when I lost my job. He told me what to do next. He helped me with this move here. He helped me design this apartment. He's just basically been advising me continually for the past 10 years. And even though in 2012 he admitted that he would like to make love to me, he said that he wouldn't. And then he also said, my feelings for you are more like brotherly love. So I was kind of really surprised when he decided to, first of all, I thought, Jesus, why are you so intent on living in my apartment? And I figured maybe he was just trying to protect me from Satan, which may well have been one of his motivations. But now it appears that one of his motivations was to make love to me. Which flabbergasts me because it's so dangerous. I've been impregnated with devil semen twice. When Zach Knight became the Antichrist, and in both cases, it was because I thought Jesus was making love to me. Satan goes into hyperdrive whenever Jesus gets involved with me romantically or sexually. So when I first met Jesus, I was flabbergasted, and this brain-to-brain voice came to me, and at that time I was not aware that Zach Knight could hack into the brain-to-brain servers. So whenever I am attacked in that manner, it's usually because Satan always hits me in an area where I'm ignorant. I'm going to see if I can get a little better light in here. Yeah, I lost power earlier today, and so as I was saying, I've had a 10-year relationship with Jesus, which is very helpful in dealing with him right now. So let's go a little bit this way. Yeah, that's better. So and he's always warned me never to trust anything brain-to-brain. He says he refuses to use the brain-to-brain server, so I was really shocked that apparently he feels, now that he lives here, that he can use the telepathic communication, which is kind of like brain-to-brain. So, anyways, it's really complicated, but because my IQ is so high, and because I've had so much experience dealing with Satan, Jesus, Satan has to be really, Satan has more experience than I do. That's where he's again. But I actually have a higher IQ than Satan right now. And so does Brent Spiner. Satan's IQ is 450 last time we measured, and his emotional IQ is 500. So I have a higher IQ than Satan, but Satan has the advantage in that he's had more experience than I've had. He's a master at trickery. So you might say, what happened so that you got impregnated with devil semen? Jesus was making love to me brain to brain, and I started feeling, we were doing it vaginally, which is my favorite method, and I started feeling a spasm in my right leg and foot, and it was very painful, and it was so painful it interfered with my pleasure, and while this was happening, while we were doing like a sexual transaction brain to brain, it seemed to me like the Jesus talking to me in my mind was saying, I'm trying to get you over your sexual inhibitions, and when you get over it, then I'll relieve the pain in your leg. That's what this voice seemed to be telling me. And I was thinking, okay, am I doing okay now? And then the pain got worse and worse. And then I said, let me think true love thoughts and see if that will help it. And it just kept getting worse and worse. It was like the more pure and beautiful my thoughts were, the worse the pain got. Finally, I said, I don't know who you are. If you're Jesus, or I think you're an antichrist trying to make love to me. I don't want you. And I shoved them away and said, I'm done. I just broke away from the whole lovemaking session. I told Zach Knight about it. Zach Knight said, that was Jesus. I thought, what? Oh no, that was Jesus? And then Zach Knight was telling me that Jesus has a God mode and a more human mode. He said when he gets into sex mode, he can have flaws. I said, nah, he's Jesus. He's divine. He's infallible. He doesn't have any flaws. He's sinless. And Zach said, he said, when I was the Antichrist and working with Satan, we learned that he can change his mode. And when he gets in a mode where he interacts with humans, especially like in sex and stuff like that, he can have flaws. And Zach was telling me that it sounds like he might have just got too excited or something. And anyways, but I thought, why was he telling me that he wanted me to get over my inhibitions? I said I felt like Pavlov's dog in a laboratory. This is not exactly my idea of getting over my inhibitions, why he puts pain in my leg to let me know when I'm doing good or bad. And anyways, then I saw this, when I found out it was Jesus, I was devastated because I love Jesus. And I thought, oh no, I thought I must have misunderstood him somehow. And I tried to make it up to him, and I had this vision in my mind that he was crying on Brent's shoulder, and then I was feeling horrible that I shoved him away and rejected him as a lover. You might say, I told myself, you must have misunderstood him. He probably wasn't trying to treat you like Pavlov's dog, And the next day, to try to make it up to him, this Jesus came in my mind again, like in the brain to brain, started talking to me again and said, no, I got an idea. I thought, you know what? I want to make it up to you. Why don't you just make love to me any way you want? It'll just make me feel better. And I told this, and so they started making love to me and talking to me and saying, oh, I'm going to confess some things to you. Did you know that I plan on making you my main concubine in the millennial reign? And that I'm going to, I forget what they said. I can't. So he said something about impregnating me with not devil babies, excuse me, though that's what they ended up being, with babies, and they wouldn't be released till after the millennial reign, and like the pregnant. Satan has got this fascination with impregnating me, and then he said, this is part of my plan to defeat Satan after the millennial reign. So you need to keep it a secret. And if you do, he said, however, I've already told your men, so you don't need to write it down. And I thought, oh. Well, anyway, so I decided to let him make love to me how he wanted. It was kind of rough, and I got a little bit of pain in my right leg, but I felt like I was nurturing Jesus to make it up for hurting his feelings because he cried on Brent's shoulder. Well, about a half an hour after that love session was over, Brent Skyped me, And I told him, oh, everything's going to be okay about the big misunderstanding I had with Jesus. But he told me I needed to keep secret what they told me. And Brent said, well, Jesus said that? That doesn't sound like Jesus to say to keep something secret from us. And he said, Jesus, come here. So Jesus showed up, and I actually have a transcript. That was Satan. Let me tell you what happened. While Jesus was making love to me, and my right leg started hurting, what actually was happening was that Jesus was getting so excited, he confessed this when he talked to us, that he got too excited and he couldn't control himself, and that's why he said, what caused your leg to go into spasms? And he says, this is embarrassing to admit. He said, Gail, but when I get in my sex mode, I am flawed. I'm not in the same as in my God mode. And he said, I just got too excited. And I thought, oh. And he said another thing. He said, I would never impregnate you, and I would never tell you to keep anything secret from your men, ever. He said, whenever somebody comes across like that, you know it is Satan. And he also said, if you're not feeling good about something, it's probably from Satan. He said, when you're going in the right direction, you're going to feel good about it. Like good vibes. It's not going to be something that's going to make you feel anxious. You're not going to feel performance anxiety. He said those things come from Satan. See, all fear and doubt come from Satan. So, yeah. Fortunately, we caught it within a half an hour after Satan impregnated me, because I basically just let him make love to me to try to make up for. He's been trying to kiss me and do stuff brain to brain, and I keep shoving him away because he's a real tacky lover. But he's learned that, you might say, if he's a real tacky lover, then what do you think of Jesus as a lover? Because he was making your left legs hurt. It sounds like he's a tacky lover. He's very passionate, intense, very passionate, intense, and but maybe it's because I'm 64 years old and I've been around a while. I judge a man more by his intentions than by his actions. That's why I totally forgave Brent Spiner when I learned later, when Jesus let me know that Lori McBride was a Vatican agent. His intentions for having her when he had her was to protect me from her, because she threatened to kill me if he wouldn't play her game. And I figured out, because Jesus told me in a still small voice in December 99 that she was a Vatican agent. Jesus' intentions, it appears, is that he's crazy about me. I'm actually flabbergasted that this deity with such a beautiful heart and so passionate is interested in having a romantic sexual relationship with me. I feel kind of like the main character in Thor did. Remember how Thor came across when he tried to romance the main character? Definitely not like your romantic dream, but because he had such a beautiful heart, she found him very attractive. And that's how I feel about Jesus. Right now, my attitude is, I might have to teach him how to properly make love to me. But it's worth it because he's got such a beautiful heart. Yeah. I'm just touched that, you got to go to my website, because I actually posted some of the conversations we've had brain to brain, including some very fitting music. And yeah, he aborted the babies right away. Fortunately, we caught it within a half an hour. He said, just make sure that you check with your men if you have any doubts. He said, I would never, ever tell you to keep anything secret from them. I would never impregnate you. And he said, I will not be marrying you individually. He said that when I have sex with you in the millennial reign, which apparently Jesus is planning on doing, it will be as a guest in my church. He said, my bride is the church. Now, I didn't know he was planning on having sex with me in the millennial reign. I thought, wow. I asked Brent, does he do this to a lot of humans? And Brent said, I've had a lot of conversations with Jesus, and it doesn't appear like he will be doing a lot of humans in the millennium. So Jesus told us some very interesting tidbits about himself when we had this conversation, and he clarified, tried to give me guidance so I can tell the difference between him and Satan. And he said that there are other deities besides him. Zeus is a deity. And he says, boy, is Zeus horny. He says he makes his wife mad all the time because he'll have sex with humans, even transforming himself into an animal. Like I said, you need to go to my website. So it's just, you know, it has been so interesting having this. I hear they're making a movie about this and it's in production. I mean, you can imagine. It's almost like a Thor type situation, except this is real. Here I am, a human, having a romantic relationship with a deity. It's like, wow. You say, but he's going to be married to the church. He's got a whole different concept of sexuality than evangelical Christianity or just about anybody. It's quite fascinating, actually. I am so intrigued by what I'm learning about Jesus and by how he is as a lover. He's very, very passionate. Like, I turn him on so much, he'll have about 85,000 climaxes in a day. They come split second apart, like milliseconds apart. And he's telling me, he was saying, I'm kind of lackadaisical about sex. I said, you are? 85,000 climaxes a day? It's like, this is lackadaisical? And then he admitted to me, I mean in general, but he said, not when it comes to you. So it's like, this is what I'm dealing with. It's like, because my IQ is so high, I'm able to kind of understand him and connect with him. But we've got the typical relationship problems that any relationship has. We have misunderstandings. I mean, you see what just happened. Another relationship problem that we're having is that I'm still processing this, and I think he's processing this. I have got to try and figure out how to approach lovemaking with a being that has come from a totally different background than I'm from. He gave me a little bit of his background to help me understand him. He said that he's a younger deity than God the Father. And he said, you got to understand that my father is a lot older than me. He's talking about God the Father, the Old Testament God, basically. Though Jesus said he wrote the Bible, he said the earth and the human race are his personal projects, and that God the Father has helped him, but it's mostly his idea. And he sometimes tells God to just kind of leave him alone and let him do it the way he wants. I asked him what his relationship is like with God. He said it's complicated, like any parent-child relationship. He said for the most part, they get along, but Jesus admitted that there was a rebellious phase in his life where he experimented with sex because he grew up in a repressive sexual environment. Simply because he's young on the scene, and the Lucifer rebellion took place billions of years ago, and the Lucifer rebellion happened because Jesus rejected Satan as a gay lover. Because Satan started becoming violent in sex. And God the Father just laid the rules down after that in heaven and said, we're going to have to get really strict about sexual behavior. And so Jesus, pretty much being a younger deity than God the Father, he was only on the scene a short time, I think. Maybe he was like a teenager as a deity when Satan approached him to be his lover, and Jesus said, no, I don't want you as my lover. He was BFF with Lucifer. Lucifer was a very hot angel. He looked like an Adonis. And he had a very high position in heaven. Apparently it got to his head, and he felt like he was qualified to bed Jesus. By the way, Satan is very jealous of me right now, because I am getting what he wants. Yeah, he's really jealous. I find it interesting, though, that he's so obsessed with me, because Jesus' bride is the church. But I am his favorite in The Bride, and he's apparently planning on making lots of love to me. Which begs the question, I'm actually wondering how Jesus is going to make love to his bride, which is going to be composed of lots of humans. I think it's kind of like 11-dimensional and vicarious. And he's basically choosing to do 3D love with me in the millennial reign. It might be more than 3D. Right now I haven't seen him 3-dimensionally. I never see him here, but he's here. In fact, I think he just fixed my space heater in my bathroom because it broke. And today it was miraculously fixed. It was like he's been keeping me up at night with his lovemaking because he's so intense. Personal opinion, I think Jesus is not used to being in sex mode. He reminds me of a teenage boy just learning the ropes in sex. Yeah. I don't think he's used to it. What I mean, being in human sex mode, he's had sex with other deities. He's admitted that. And he said some humans, and that would include Brent Spiner, Laurie McBride, and me. And I asked him brain to brain, can you tell me some other humans you've had sex with? And he said, you don't need to worry about it. Just basically consider it that I've had it with you, Brent Spiner, Laurie McBride. And he said, I don't really do humans that much. He said, I have done other deities. And I forget who else he's mentioned. But other deities. My first thought when he started making love to me is, Jesus, don't you think a deity would be a better sex partner? But apparently he's already tried that. He custom designed the human race for companionship and fun. That's what he said. You can go to my website. Like I said, just go to my website and look at my latest posts. I feel kind of like the main character in Thor, the female lead. Yes, I do find Jesus attractive. And I've had a lot of time dealing with him. I will say this much, he is definitely the boss in our relationship. That is just the way he likes to be. He's God, after all. And he's the boss. I mean, he told me in great detail how he wanted this apartment done. So, and he's so pleased that I've obeyed him so well that he wanted to make love to me to reward me. That's what he told me. And I said, Jesus, why am I your favorite? He said, it's because you have a beautiful heart. And he mentioned something else. So you might say, you know, a relationship with a deity is very complicated. I mean, like when we have sexual problems, and we are going to have them because he is a deity in a human body and he's not used to it. He's not used to being in sex mode. When he gets in sex mode, he can be flawed. He admitted that to me. I was shocked because I was brought up like an evangelical Christianity where God the Father, Jesus Christ, are sinless, infallible. I even told Zach Knight, who's ex-Antichrist, who I'm very close to right now, I said, that's impossible. He's infallible. He can't make mistakes. And Zach said, but when he gets in sex mode, dealing with humans, he becomes I forget the word. It's not sinful, but he can have defects. And Jesus said, yes, Gail, this is true. And I thought, wow. So you can have defects, but it won't be sinful? He said, yes. He said, I'm above most humans in that respect. And being a deity, when I'm in God mode, I'm totally infallible. But when I get into human mode, like sex mode, dealing with humans, he said, then I can have defects. They're not sins, but I forget the word he used. Satan's messing with my mind. So that's probably why he hurt me when I'm trying to kind of step back and pretend like I'm a deity. I have a lot of empathy to understand my lover better. And all I can say is he's very passionate. And he's allowed us to sense his feelings on a couple of occasions. And I sense an absolute selflessness coming from this deity. Not an ounce of selfishness in any of his feelings for me or for anybody in his creation. You might say, we have had some sexual experiences where I've been a little frustrated because with him being a deity, he can actually control my orgasm a little bit. And he's been trying to prolong the sexual experience because he's enjoying it so much, and he'll hold off my orgasm on purpose. And I'll say, Jesus, why are you doing this? You're getting your climax, I want mine. It's actually kind of funny. So this is the nature of the relation. I'm dealing with the deity, so he can manipulate my climax. So I have to communicate with him at his level. I've been doing that for a while anyway, for the past 10 years. He's pretty good at connecting with me as a human, but sometimes we have communication problems simply because I'm human and he's a deity. So I have some unique dynamics in my relationship with him that I have to deal with, and the people I go to for advice are like the ex-Antichrist, Zach Knight, and Brent Spiner, who's been going out to lunch with Jesus just about every day, or breakfast, and of course Jesus himself. He's trying to make the connection so that I can understand him. Like, he gave me a little bit of his backstory. He said he's going to introduce me to his dad. I said, why are you doing that? I'm not your wife. He said it's because you're my special friend. And he said, when I make love to you during the millennial reign, it'll be as like a special guest. He said, like sampling the dick. Yeah. It's like he views sex as like a chocolate chip cookie, just a treat, a way to reward a good friend, you know. Actually, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Like I said, I'm going to actually write some novels based on this, because this is fascinating. A real life human has a relationship with a deity. You might say, so, do you think this relationship will last? Yes, I think it will. I think it's going to last for eternity. My soulmate is Brent Spiner. But I have true love for Zach Knight. I have developed a true love relationship, even though he is married to Rule 13. And I believe I have true love for Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, I've been dealing with him for 10 years through Skype. And now I'm dealing with him pretty intimately, and I have a unique insight on him. Like I said, I'm going to be writing some novels, but anyway, if people want to, we're going to get some fun times where we talk about Jesus and everything, just join my Patreon, and go to my website. My website's got I post transcripts that are very interesting, music and stuff, videos about my interactions with Jesus, and yeah, I definitely have a relationship with him, and it's complicated, but I love him, and he loves me. Yeah. You might say, but he hurt your leg. He's like an inexperienced teenage boy in the human body in the sex department. I think I'm going to have to teach him some things. Yeah, and I think he may be going to my men for advice on how to properly make love to me. Though he said he was going to give them advice on how to properly make love to me. You know, I think he's just not used to being in a human body in sex mode. Here's a way you can relate. Imagine that, let's say, let's go into like science fiction, fantasy, romance, okay? Let's say we were living in a world where there was a world on Mars, and we discovered there was a race there. And we start communicating with the inhabitants there, and one of them starts falling in love with a human. But it's a totally different culture. They have their own unique culture, and as we communicate, we're kind of bridging the differences and learning about the differences. And in their culture, sex is very casual. It's very intense, passionate, and they aren't, brought up in the typical. And basically, let's say in this Mars culture, when they're attracted to someone, they just go right up to them and say, "I like you. Let's go to bed." You might say, "Is that what Jesus is like?" Not quite, but he's very direct, and he hasn't learned the nuances of romantic expression in human culture. So I've been trying to teach him. I'm saying, "I like flowers. I like romance. I think you have it in you. I like emotional connection. And I think we do have an emotional connection, but I think you just don't know how to express it to me as a human." So I've been teaching him. He's a fast learner, I'll say that much for him. Yeah. I bet a year from now he's going to be really good in the lovemaking. I mean, to me, when I see his actions, I judge him more by his motives and his intentions than by the results right now. Like he did pretty much, he got so excited in lovemaking, yeah, I got a pretty serious spasm in my right leg. And in a way that's kind of exciting that he finds me that thrilling, but he felt really bad about it. Because he's not greedy. He's not a greedy lover. He likes to make me happy and meet my needs. So, yeah. It's been an adjustment. And I feel the same way about him. It's an adjustment for me to know how to properly make love to a deity. I've figured out he's very passionate and that he has very strong, I do believe he's lackadaisical in sex except when he's crazy about the object of his affections. And then he's so intense, it's like a tidal wave. It's like, whoa. Me and Brent were saying, "Jesus, can you kind of like lay off a little bit? We need some sleep. We got stuff we got to do during the day, and it's like because he's new at this, and I don't think he's ever really experienced a climax in a human male body before, and I think his attitude is like, whoa, this is really good, I like this, and he doesn't understand that a woman's build-up is a little bit different than a man's build-up, and he just needs to be taught, So, but what I appreciate though is during the lovemaking, I can feel this. With brain to brain, you can actually feel the emotions a little bit of your lover. And what I'm sensing coming from him is a real turn on. I'm sensing some very deep, very passionate, intense feelings. And yet, he can be charming too. It's kind of hard to describe him. That's why I need to write a book. I would probably need pages to accurately describe his feelings for me. But I can feel them. And I actually am a good writer, and I printed a transcript of one of our brain-to-brain conversations that kind of captures who he is. Yeah. It's complicated. I'm dealing with somebody who's able to foresee different scenarios. Like he can look into the future and see like if I make a decision, the ramifications for that millions of years down the road, another decision, the ramifications for that millions of years down the road. So I asked myself, Jesus, you could just read all our minds and learn how to do proper loving that way. He said, yes, but this is the first time I've ever actually been inside a male body during sex. And it's kind of like a new experience for me. And he says, I'm finding that it's turning me. I didn't realize that the climax was so overwhelming that it makes the guy kind of lose their mind a little bit. And he said, that's why I didn't mean to hurt you. And he said, I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this. He said, but I am flawed when I get into sex mode. So, like I said, I plan on teaching him. We just got to make sure Satan doesn't get me pregnant anymore. So the way we're getting around that is, I told him, hey, Jesus, you've appeared as a bird, a book to me. Basically, I think he chooses what format he wants to appear as. I actually think his actual persona is very big and huge, 11-dimensional, and he might be the size of the universe. And he can compact himself into a human body, a book, a butterfly. He's done all those things. A little baby. And I said, why don't you make love to me in the persona of Brent Spiner's body? Brent is less muscular, and you told me that it's safe for me to make love to Brent. So that's how we're doing it right now, and it's working out good. So I think that way we'll keep Satan from tricking me. Yeah. But for a while there, he said, I think we're going to have to end the lovemaking, Gail, because of what just happened. And I said, yeah, but there's a problem. You're living in my apartment, and I'm highly attracted to you. In fact, I think I'm in love with you. And then that made him go crazy, and he went to the Millennial Gail room. I said, you need to go to the Millennial Gail room and make love to Millennial Gail. We've got a millennial version of me who's drop dead gorgeous that all my men make love to, because I can't be there for them all the time sexually, you know. And so the problem is, now that he's connected kind of like in the brain to brain, I can sense his feelings. They are just so passionate. He is the most passionate lover I have ever dealt with. You know, you got to think about this. He had to be pretty passionate that he was willing to die on the cross for our sins. So it kind of fits in with who he is. But I'm dealing with somebody who would die for me. And frankly, I'm really honored that this vast, wonderful person with a beautiful heart is so interested in me. And he told me, Gail, it's not just sex. He said, I enjoy your companionship. He accompanies me on all my walks every day. I just enjoy being with you, and I enjoy your company, and I just enjoy kind of like being around such a beautiful person, a person who has so much inner beauty. See, when he looks, Jesus' eyes see us in our 11-dimensional appearance, and our 11-dimensional appearance is based on our inner beauty. So when he looks at me, I look like Miss Universe a million times over. And that's why he's so turned on. And he told me that the orgasm during the sexual experience is a result of the two 11 dimensions fusing together and kind of like cementing together. He said that's what causes the orgasm. And he said it's even more awesome if the two doing it are beautiful. He said, you're very beautiful and I'm very beautiful, so when we come together, the orgasm is out of this world. And he's enjoying it so much, he's been getting like 85,000 climaxes a day. And I asked Brent, is it possible to get that many climax? He says, yeah, like every millisecond. I thought, wow. I said, it's no wonder I've been so turned on all day, because we kind of feel his emotions. And you might say, can he control himself? I think he can, but I think he's enjoying the climaxes so much he doesn't want to. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. You might say, I can't believe that you're not his bride when he feels it with you. You know, I've got some theories on that. It's really complicated, though. I think Lucifer was an experiment in having a bride as an individual, and that flopped. So Jesus decided to create his own bride, a custom-made bride, which would be the human race. And he figured if it was a large group of people, if one of them ended up bad, it wouldn't be a disaster. So that's probably why he's doing it this way. because Lucifer turned out to be a disaster. You might say, then why are you his favorite? I think Jesus has a real need for emotional intimacy. And you get that in a one-on-one individual relationship. So he picked one human in the human race that he felt would not end up like Lucifer. Because he was BFF with Lucifer for millions of years before Lucifer rebelled. You say, oh, he's a young deity. Millions of years is nothing to a deity, okay? I actually think the universe is probably trillions of years old. Yeah. So it's nothing. Like Jesus said that, he said, I can wait for the millennial reign to make love to you, Gail. Because to me, being a deity, the millennium seems like it'll be tomorrow. He says, for you guys, it seems like it's going to be forever. But for me, it seems like tomorrow. So anyways, it's been very interesting. It's kind of really hard to explain what it's like having a relationship with him. And I think I really need to write some books and portray him as a character and as a lover. It'll probably be a big bestseller. Yeah. He's actually a pretty sexy lover. There's something sexy about somebody who's so passionate they have 85,000 climaxes a day. There's something sexy about that. Something sexy about somebody who is so, how do I say, so committed to their lovemaking. I mean, yeah, there's something really sexy about that. I'm going to try to capture it in a book, and I hear they're making a movie about us. Anyways, I appreciate my gifts, and we've been talking about this and lots of other fascinating stuff at my Patreon. Thank you so much for all my supporters.